Here we have Solana versus the dollar, as we like to say. Mr. Cameron Perkley is requesting this one. You want to look at a 30-minute and 2-hour. Okay, cool. All right, well, 30-minute, what are we looking for right here? A little bit sloppy on the 30-minute. Do have to be a little more downside going on something like this as long as we are below about 153. That also implies that if this thing does even just tick back above about 153, I would be looking for it to go on a nice little ride all the way up to about a buck 56, a buck 57 or so. And that look really, really good and bleed on over into the medium and higher term timeframes, obviously, or more like medium term timeframes. Buy hourly down, looking like a little bit of downside from here. But I need to be very specific in stating this. I'm not bearish on this asset. I do think it could very easily come down to, to test it around 130 to 135 yet again. That's completely fine though. This one is long-term good and sideways between, basically the same areas that we've been looking for the last month or so here is completely fine, man. I wouldn't be bearish on this thing, especially as long as you're above about a buck 25 or even just a buck 30. Until then, short term, a little bit of sideways, probably a little bit of downside, but ultimately long term, very, very good. Weekly, powerful, just consolidating here. And again, this is a healthy consolidation, but do we get another test down to like mid 130s? I think very possible here. All higher term timeframes though are bullish, obviously. And let's go check out momentum also to just see if they can help out with some short-term biases here. Hourly remains up as long as above about a buck 49 and 70. Okay, good. 4 hour is freshly up above a buck 47.70 as well. So maybe short-term this one does actually turn the corner here. 12 hour up above 155 essentially, and daily will also be up above 159 or so. So with that said, assuming that those conditions continue to be met, I suppose I should be looking for this one to pop back up towards 155, 156. Personally speaking, though, looking at this right here, I do think that this one will actually break down. So coming up with a bit of ranges right here. Technically speaking, I suppose, you could look for the momentum play, although I wouldn't really trust it in this current scenario here. As long as you're above about a buck 47 on a 4 hour closure. Below there, I would be looking for that move down into the mid 130s sometime this week, and very likely a bounce there. And again, long term, I mean, this is a phenomenal chart. It's just short term, still sideways and more or less corrective. I mean, here's a real direction of this thing. Here's what I'm essentially looking for. Blup, 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 blup. Something like that, man. This thing's operating on a higher lows as long as you're above about a buck 30. So I do like that. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful for Solana's. Probably more of a boring chart here, to be fair. Yeah, still fine. Yep. So hopefully that was helpful, and there you go.